Welcome to Advanced, Lesson 7, and we're tackling the single feature that separates toy FastAPI projects from production systems. Depends. This is FastAPI's superpower, dependency injection for HTTP, database sessions, authenticated users, feature flags, settings, all injected into your handlers through one consistent pattern. And here's the thing. It's the same composition pattern from Lesson 6, now wired into the request lifecycle. 4 mental models. That's the whole lesson. First, defining a dependency. It's just a function, injected with one line of type-annotated syntax. Second, subdependencies. Dependencies that depend on dependencies, resolved as a tree. That's composition all the way down, exactly like Lesson 6. Third, yield for setup and teardown, the context manager pattern baked into DI. And fourth, overrides for testing. Swap the real database for in-memory SQLite, no mocking library required. Master these 4, and you've internalized the senior FastAPI reflex. Start with the anatomy. 3 pieces, that's it. A regular function that returns what you need. Here, a database session. Depends, get DB, in the parameter list, marking the injection point. And reuse, define once, inject into 20 endpoints. FastAPI runs getDB before your handler fires, hands you the result, and caches it for the request lifecycle. Same DB reference across every subdependency in that request. No globals, no boilerplate. Now swap return for yield, and the dependency becomes a context manager. Code before yield is your setup. Code after is your teardown. Wrap it in, try finally, and clean up runs no matter what. Handler raises an exception. db.close still fires. Same pattern for Redis, for file handles, for distributed locks. It's the with statement, baked directly into dependency injection. Exactly where resource lifecycle belongs. Dependencies can themselves declare dependencies, and FastAPI resolves the entire tree for you. Watch the chain. Current user needs token data. Token data needs the OAuth2 scheme. The scheme needs the request. 3 levels deep, each function does one job, and FastAPI walks the graph in order, passing results down. This is the exact OOP composition pattern from Lesson 6, small pieces composed into something powerful, now wired straight into the HTTP request lifecycle. Now, what if your dependency needs configuration? Functions hit a wall here, but classes don't. Define paginate as a class, put your skip and limit parameters in init with full query validation, and pass the class itself to depends. FastAPI instantiates it per request, parses the query string, and hands you a typed object. Same composition pattern from Lesson 6, just wearing an HTTP hat. Notice the short form, too. Depends with no argument, since the type annotation already tells FastAPI what to build. Here's where depends pays its biggest dividend, testability. Production wires get DB to a real PostgreSQL session. In tests, you swap it with a single line. app.dependency overrides maps getDB to an in-memory SQLite fixture. Your handlers don't change. They don't even know. That's the dividing line between toy APIs and production systems. The seam was already there, you just used it. Now let's compress everything into 6 reflexes that separate hobby code from production. Centralize every dependency in deps.py. 1 import path, no hunting. Wrap yields and try finally so cleanup always runs. Use annotated as your default syntax. It's the 2026 style and gives you reusable type aliases. Group related params into class deps, the Lesson 6 composition pattern applied to HTTP. Override in tests instead of mocking. And when a whole router needs auth, attach depends at the router level, not on every handler. Pin this one. 12 patterns, the entire depends surface area on a single page. Left column is the core mechanics. Depends, annotated, subdeps, root level wiring. Middle column is the power tools, the shortcut form, reusable aliases, test overrides, and disabling per-request cache. Right column is structure, yield lifecycles, class-based deps, router-level injection, and your central deps.py. Master these 12, and you're writing production FastAPI. Now, the failure modes. 5 mistakes that look harmless in dev and bite hard in production. Number 1, returning a session instead of yielding it, leaks connections until the pool dies. 2, fighting the per-request cache when you don't understand it. 3, fat dependencies doing heavy fetches on every route. 4, copy-pasted get DB across 5 routers instead of 1 deps py. And 5, test overrides that never get cleared, so your suite passes alone and fails together. Recognize these patterns now, before they ship. Time to build it. 3 exercises that turn theory into muscle memory. First, create app deps.py with get DB and get settings. Wire it into 3 endpoints. Confirm injection works. Second, extract a paginate class for skip and limit, drop it into 2 routes. Watch DRI emerge. Third, write a PyTest that overrides getDB with in-memory SQLite, verify the post lands, tear it down cleanly. Finish these, and you've got the central deps file, a reusable class dep, and the override pattern you'll use in every test from here on. That's dependency injection, locked in. Depends, injects, yield handles cleanup, subdeps chain naturally, and overrides give you test isolation, the 4 pillars you'll lean on in every FastAPI app from here forward. Next up, SQLModel. One class becomes both your database table and your pedantic schema. Type-safe ORM, sessions, relationships. It's the foundation for the Lesson 12 capstone. See you in Lesson 8.